And then we've got the label of your name, and then the player name text field, which is just the name that you enter at the bottom. And that also saves stuff, and I'll show you that further down. That's here, that's this bit. The bit inside the start function is where it saves it. So what it does is your player name equals player prefs get string. So right at the start of the game, if there is something inside player prefs, which is a folder that you'll have when you download the game, and it will save it. It will constantly save it every time that you change your name in your game. So if you notice at the start, the very start of the episode, I had the same name in both screens. That's because it's saved on my computer. If it was on somebody else's computer, it would be the last name that you entered. And then inside our update function, we've got if refreshing, which we set further down when that is called. If the master server's host list is bigger than 0, then it turns refreshing off. So if there is more than 0 hosts on the master server, which is the Unity servers, then it turns refreshing off, and then it adds all of the servers that it finds to the host data array at the top. And then when we have the start server function, which is here when we actually press create inside of create game, then if the server pass doesn't equal blank, then it turns the network's incoming password to server pass, which is obviously the password that you type in when you're creating the server. And then it network initializes the server. That's the amount of players. It's actually one more than that because of the server itself, and then the port, then whether the network has public address. I always set this one just as it is, because that's how it is in the manual. And then master server dot register host. So it registers, the master server then registers our game as a host, with the game name as the name of the thing, the server name as the name of the server, and then the server info, which is the comment part that we typed in earlier. Moving on, we've got when the server is initialized, then we make sure we don't destroy the object that this script is attached to. So when the server is initialized, effectively this is now the server. This object is now the server. So we don't want to destroy this. We want to keep this with us, and then we load the level of lobby. So I said that in my previous tutorial how this bit works. And then we have lobby spawn, which is the minute this joins into the game, then we load a player. And just like if another player joins the game, when they connect to the server, they then call lobby spawn, which is here. So it waits for 0.1 just to make sure that we've actually joined the server. It won't affect the game at all. But then it has a variable of made, which is network instantiate our player prefab transform position transform rotation, and then it has a 0 on the end. I'm not sure what that's for. So our made variable is then the player move object that we create is the name of our player. So when we type in our name, it changes the name of our player that we're controlling to our player name, which will be useful for future things. So like if you want to have your name above your head, it'll be easy to access it. And then it saves our player name to the file that I said about earlier. And then if we are the client, then we destroy this script, because we don't need this script anymore, because our player is now part of the player move script, which is attached to the game object that our player controls. And then here is the elusive refresh host lists, which is, so when we refresh the host, the master server, it clears the list of the hosts that we've got at the moment, and then it requests the games again. So requests everything with our game name, which is the script, which is the variable right at the top, which is the one that we need to make independent. It needs to be completely different to anybody else's. And then it turns refreshing to true, which calls the function that I said earlier, which is refreshing, which then affects this in the update. So that's hopefully not too confusing, but if you guys have any questions about that, then please ask me and I'll cover things in more detail in future videos. But I'm just kind of trying to get through this without it taking too long for you guys, so it's not too hard to kind of follow.